Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the full in-depth review for this Motorola Moto X Play, and I have been using this device now for 8 days before producing this review. And in this review I'll share my experiences and I'll also share the pros and cons at the end of this video. And this Moto X Play is a very interesting device. Generally the Moto X moniker is for the flagship device by Motorola, but this year Motorola has made a change. This is actually not a flagship device by Motorola. This is sort of a mid-range device. The flagship device will be the Moto X style. And I would say for a mid-range Android phone, it does pack some good features, and it also actually borrows some of the improved features that we find on the Moto X. For example, this phone does support the touchless voice control. So even without touching the phone, you can actually control it by voice command. So that functionality is there. But before I proceed, let me give you a configuration overview. Moto X Play is powered by the Snapdragon 615 chipset, which is an Octa Core processor, and it's divided into two quad cores. The powerful one is clocked at 1.7 GHz and the low power one is clocked at 1 GHz. And it's based on the ARM Cortex A53. That means it's 64-bit enabled. Moving to the GPU, it has the Adreno 405 GPU. It has a 5.5-inch 1080p screen with Gorilla Glass 3 protection. It also is sort of water resistant. It has nano coating and it's IP52 certified. It has 2 GB of RAM, 16 or 32 GB of internal storage, a micro SD card slot, a 21 megapixel rear facing camera, a 5 megapixel front facing camera. It also supports fast charging, and the battery is a 3630 milliamp hour battery, and it also has NFC support. And now let's first talk about the design. This Moto X Play sports that 5.5-inch screen, which is a 1080p screen. And some of you were asking me about the brightness. The screen is actually really bright, so no issues regarding that. For example, as you can see right now, it's in low brightness, still it's really bright. So the screen is vibrant, and some of you even asked me to compare it with the Moto G3. Definitely, if we compare the screen, it is far better screen compared to the Moto G3. And though it's a big device sporting a 5.5-inch screen, I would say if you hold it in the hand, it is comfortable to hold. Also, I do like the fact that we have this textured back. Actually, this cover can be opened. And also, as this back cover is made up of rubber, it actually provides an excellent grip. And though the phone is a little bit heavy, but due to this curved back, I feel it provides a very good grip. Regarding the buttons are okay, but they are made up of plastic. They look like they're made up of metal, but they are made up of plastic. And for the most part, it's okay. But one thing I don't like is that if you shake the phone, there is a slight rattling sound that you can hear from the power button. So I was annoyed by that a little bit. Now, if we move to the processor, many of you and even I was actually worried how would the Snapdragon 615 chipset perform on this Moto X Play. Does it overheat? And the good thing is that in my day-to-day usage, the phone did not exhibit any overheating issues. Yes, with extended gaming, it can get a little bit warm to around 42 to 43 degrees Celsius, but it does not overheat. Now, if we move to the battery, which I think so is the real plus point of this device, is that it sports a 3630 milliamp hour battery, but the battery is sealed inside. And I have to say the battery life on this phone is very good. Motorola says that it should last for about 2 days. I wouldn't say it's exactly true. Yes, if you're a sort of a casual user, it can last you for 2 days. I'm sort of a power user, and I would say it was lasting me for about 1.5 days with my usage. Even on very heavy usage with 3G and 4G, it could easily last me for a full working day. And in terms of screen on time, I was getting anywhere between 4.5 to 5 hours of screen on time with the Moto X Play with my regular usage. Also, if we talk about the standby time, with almost any other Android phone, I had to charge it after about 18 to 20 hours of the charger. But with this Moto X Play, I had to charge it after about 30 odd hours. So in terms of battery life, I was really happy with the Moto X Play. Now, if we talk about water resistant, this Moto X Play is not completely water resistant like the Moto G3, but Motorola says that it is sort of splash proof. So accidentally if some water falls on it, it should be okay. But just don't go out and start dipping the Moto X Play in the water. That is not recommended. Also, this as I mentioned earlier, also the Moto X Play also supports the Moto Voice, which is a feature without even touching the phone with your voice. You can control this Moto X Play, and this works actually very similar to the earlier Moto X devices. In fact, you can check out the video that I posted last year on the Moto X 2014. It's the same features. Now, if we move to gaming, here I would say if you are sort of a casual gamer, then the Moto X Play will be really good. It could even play some heavy games without any issues, but with very heavy games, I did notice some lag with the Moto X Play. For example, on Nova 3, it did lag a bit. So I would say if you're sort of a casual gamer, then it would be fine. But if gaming is your most highest priority, then I would not recommend the Moto X Play. Now, if we move to the camera, here Motorola has really improved. If we compare it with the earlier generations of the Moto X, now we have a 21 megapixel rear facing camera with dual LED flash, and also a front facing camera that is a 5 megapixel shooter. And for the most part, as you can see from the sample shots, the rear facing camera does a very good job in outdoor lighting conditions. But again, if we move to artificial lighting conditions, here like most mid-range Android devices, it struggles in artificial light. Don't get me wrong, you can certainly take some good shots even in artificial lighting, but you have to be careful. Also, the front facing camera is, I would say, a huge improvement over earlier Moto X cameras, but again, it's not as wide as some other front facing camera. So I would say the camera is certainly an improvement over earlier generations of the Moto X, but again, it's not the best camera that I've seen. In fact, I've already posted the dedicated review regarding the camera performance. You can check out that for most samples. Now, if we move to the storage, the Moto X Play comes in actually two varieties. The one comes with 16 gigabytes of internal storage, and the other comes with 32 gigabytes of internal storage. RAM, it's the same. Both of them have 2 gigabytes of RAM, and we also have a micro SD card support. But do remember that though it's a dual SIM device, both the SIMs are nano SIM. Also, when we move to the general performance of the Moto X Play, here I was a little bit surprised. In fact, I would say for the most part, it handles the Android lollipop without any issues. But sometimes in the multitasking tray, I did notice some minor lag, or when I was moving to Google Now, there was sort of a hesitations at times. It looks like the animations slowed down a bit. This was happening about 2-3% of the time, not always, but I did notice that. Now moving to the speaker, this Moto X Play, though as you can see, it looks like it has a dual firing speaker, but no, that's not true. The what do you say? This portion is just the earpiece. The speaker is here at the bottom, so it's a mono speaker, but the speaker is loud and clear, and it also supports USB OTG. Moving to the headphone jack, I would say the audio output that I got from the headphone jack was excellent. So if you listen to a lot of music, you will be really satisfied. But just don't use the supplied headphones that you got with the Moto X Play because they are just very average. Use a high quality headphones and you'll really enjoy the music. Now let me actually divide this Moto X Play between the pros and the cons. I have made a list, so let's go over them. First, let's talk about the cons. First, as I have already mentioned, the power button and the volume rockers are a little bit wobbly, and if you shake and listen, it does make a little bit of rattling sound. Also, in terms of sensor, Motorola has provided all the sensors, but they haven't included the gyroscope sensor. So you have to be aware of that. Now, if we move to the general performance, as I've already mentioned, for the most part, it is lag free, but I do notice a certain lag at times. Also, as I told you, the camera is good, but again, in artificial lighting and low lighting conditions, it does tend to struggle up quite a bit. Also, though this Moto X Play supports the fast charging, but the charger that Motorola has supplied is just a normal charger, and it takes over about 3.5 hours with that charger to charge the Moto X Play. So if you want to charge it faster, you have to buy separately the turbo or the quick charger. Also, as I mentioned, though this entire casing actually looks like it's made up of metal, but it's not metal. It's hard plastic and fiber. Also, one thing that some of you might be annoyed is that as it's a Motorola device, it does not have a physical LED notification light that is activated. It just has that Moto display. So whenever you get notification, the screen lights up. So if you are used to that physical LED notification light, that's not there on the Moto X Play. So these were some of the cons of the Moto X Play. Now let's move to the pros and some of the things that I really liked on the Moto X Play. The first thing, as I've already mentioned, the speaker, though it's just a single firing speaker, is very loud and clear. Also, in terms of cellular call quality, the cellular call quality that I was getting on the Moto X Play was excellent. I have no problems regarding that. Also, the battery life is really good, and for even I would say moderate to heavy usage, it can easily last for a full working day. Also, in terms of in-hand feel, it provides an excellent grip. Also, the camera is hugely improved if you are coming from older generations of the Moto X. And lastly, I did not face any overheating issues with my regular usage of the Moto X. So as you can see, overall, the Moto X Play is a very good mid-range Android phone. Yes, it does not excel in every aspect, I would say, but overall, if you take the pros and cons and the overall performance of the device, then this Moto X Play is an excellent device in my opinion. I've also posted dedicated videos regarding its gaming performance and camera performance, so make sure you check them out. And if you found this video helpful, I'll appreciate if you can click the like button, and if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.